What's up, guys? Welcome to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. I'm Josh Evanoff. He's Angel Ortega. We have a lot of stuff to get into today. UFC 245, UFC Busan, NBA, boxing. We're going to start off with the card over the weekend. UFC 245, main evented by Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. Kamaru Usman defending his welterweight strap, defeating Colby Covington via fifth round TKO. He broke something in his jaw in the third. He broke Colby's jaw in the third. I know wasn't like his jaw, but it was like something involving I don't know exactly, but it was like something was detached. How about that? But he hurt him in the late third, and then Colby fought for the next 2 rounds with that messed up jaw, and ended up Usman just put it on him in the final minute and a half of that fight, got him out of there, knocked him down twice, and he finished the fight. And still, Angel, what were your initial thoughts just over the fight overall? I mean, I know that you saw it, but what do you think about the defense? What do you think about Colby, Kamaru, the whole thing?
First of all, it was an entertaining fight, which at the end of the day, that's all I think we all can ask for. It wasn't boring. It was good. I am a bit sad to think what's around. I made the joke that I wish they wrestled and someone won via pin, which I thought would have been funny. Obviously, that was never going to happen, but if it did, it'd be hilarious. But I did wish that wrestling was utilized, but I mean, I guess they both knew that they were going to respect that for each other. I guess I just wasn't in the game plan. They just tried to box each other. I guess it's the best way to say it. No hate. It just wasn't, the cleanest of things. But it wasn't bad by any means. Obviously, they tagged each other off the fucking jab. It was crazy, bro. At one point, they mirrored each other, which was the weirdest thing in that fight. I don't know what round it was, but every single jab, every single hit was mirrored that they were throwing at each other. Like the same amount of jabs. Even at one point, they hit each other at the exact same time, the same amount of times. It was weird. It was a mirror fight at one point. It was on some cartoon shit. It didn't make any sense. But it was cool seeing that parallel. And it made for a good fight at the end of the day. I mean, I know that's someone they weren't happy. They weren't particularly happy about the stoppage, but it made sense. I wasn't like super, angry or uproar about it. And I mean, overall, I thought it was entertaining. It's like dirty boxing. I mean, it's fun to watch. Like I said, I didn't think it was the cleanest, but it was dope to see.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was one of my personal favorite fights of this year because I was really a part of it could have been that I was just surprised. Because I really expected the fight to be not that good, and I saw people on Twitter like, I can't believe you guys expected this fight not to be good, and I'm like, well, I mean, if you've seen either of their fights, generally speaking, they're not the most entertaining. But this is a straight banger. They went out there, they just fought. And that sometimes that happens. Askren and Maya was a good example of guys that they kind of just didn't really grapple. We didn't see the grappling exchanges that we wanted to. And obviously, I guess they just wanted to go out there and they let them bang, bro. They went out there and they let them fight. Yeah, I mean, it was really, really entertaining. I had no problem with the stoppage. And I saw that Colby went on. He ran out of the cage, and then he posted something on Twitter about so we didn't mention was that Colby fouled. He poked Kamaru in the eyes like twice and kicked him in the dick. And he was like, fake nut shot, fake eye poke. And I'm like, okay, the nut shot was debatable. But he straight up molested his brain with that eye poke, bro. Like, he raked him over the eyes like twice. And then he complained about the stoppage. And I'm like, well, people were like, well, they should have let him go on. He was gonna win. But if you looked at the other scorecards, which came out, they had it 3-1 Colby, 3-1 Kamaru, and 2-2. So basically, no matter what was gonna happen, if that fight went on, Kamaru was gonna win via decision, because that fifth round would have gone to him, and possibly even a 10-8, considering he dominated it and was dropping him left and right. No problem with the stoppage. As for what's next for Kamaru, the UFC wants to give him Jorge, but Jorge wants to fight Conor. And, Jorge has other plans. That's not the biggest fight for him at the moment, and I would be fine with the Leon Edwards fight. I think Leon Edwards is a dark horse in that division. Kamaru said he wants to give him a title shot, considering nobody else wants to fight him. And I think that's the move to make right there. I mean, that was Kamaru's toughest fight in the UFC, outside of Colby, obviously. But yeah, man, I like that fight a lot. Moving on to the co-main event. This one is for sure going to get an immediate rematch, as said by Dana White in the post-fight press conference. Alexander Volkanovski defeating Max Holloway via unanimous decision, 48-47, 48-47, 50-45. For the record, I had this fight 48-47 for Alexander Volkanovski. I had him taking the first 3 rounds, mostly due to leg kicks. I saw this is a little bit of a funny tidbit. I saw his strikes, and I'm pretty sure 80 of his strikes were leg kicks of his like 130 landed. And every single one of his highlights were pretty much a leg kick, which just it says a lot about how many he threw and how much they landed. But yeah, man, that was really his game plan. He went in there, tried to just get in on him anytime he couldn't. He disrupted Max's rhythm anytime Max was coming forward. He hit him with a leg kick and he threw him off his game. And full credit to the man, he won the decision. I think giving him all 5 rounds is kind of crazy because considering I thought round 5 was at the very least an extremely clear Max round. And round 4 was debatable, but I gave it to Max. So I had it 3-2 for Volk. And they're going to run back the immediate rematch, as Dana White said, probably in Australia. Angel, how did you score the fight, and are you a bit surprised that Max lost his title?
I mean, I wouldn't say I was crazy surprised. I mean, he just fought a really smart, safe fight. And I can't blame him for that because it ended up working out in his favor. I wasn't happy with, what was it, the third judge's scorecard? What was it, like 50-45? Some crazy shit like that?
All 5 rounds.
I was really mad about that. I once again, I talked to someone who agreed with that, but I was like, nah, that's fucking bullshit. Because if anything, I'd like at least those last 2 rounds for Max. And for me, it isn't even necessarily just to have it closer to make it look better. It's just like, to me, it's like, what if that judge closes a close ass fight? You know what I mean? And that makes a difference. Because to me, at least, I want the scorecards to be because I knew he won the fight, but at the same time I was like 50-45. The fuck, like
Pretty
that is
insane.
Pretty insane to say. Hey, he won every single round to that dominance, and there was some close round in there. You know what I mean? But I thought that was unfair and unjustified at the end of the day. Because like I said, what if it's a close fight and and this judge is on that? I'd be unhappy with that, especially if I don't know what he's judged in the past. I don't know if he's had some other controversial scorecards or whatever. I just wasn't happy with that. That kind of, I know it's something so, in a way, minor, minuscule, but I don't know. I know some comments were made after that. I think it was on JRE. Max actually talked to Joe after the loss, which actually surprised me. And they were talking about the scoring system. And they're like, it doesn't, I don't know if he says his opinion doesn't matter. It's just like, it's all about those 3 guys judging the fight. And they're talking about how they want there to be a change in the scoring system since the same system is used in MMA as in boxing. So I don't know. I was unhappy with that as well. I mean, I don't think it would have made a difference, but feature-wise, if it does, at least to me, I think it matters.
It mattered to me. I think that the scorecard was pretty ridiculous.
I thought it was ridiculous, yeah.
But listen, I mean, it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it mattered to me because that's just. Like hypothetically speaking, if that fight, like let's say round 3 got swung, like let's say round 3 got swung in Max's direction, and one judge, like the majority of people thought, oh man, Max won. He wouldn't have, you know what I mean? Like because one judge probably still would have given that round to Volkanovski and won. They would have won off a ridiculous scorecard, but whatever. I guess, but from here, I guess Max is gonna get the immediate rematch. I like that move a lot. I think Max has earned the immediate rematch because a lot of people are like, well, he only defended the title like 4 times or 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, he's been champ since 2016. In title fights, he beat Pettis, Aldo twice, Ortega, and Edgar. That's a pretty damn good resume. But it was more about what he did on the way up. Like he'd won 14 straight fights at featherweight. And he killed that division. That's why whenever he became champ, it's similar to what Kamaru's gonna have to go through right now, because Kamaru beat everybody on the way up. Like in the top 5, the only person Kamaru hasn't beaten is Masvidal. And on the way up, Max Holloway beat everyone. Swanson, Oliveira, Stevens, Lamas, Pettis, Miller, Feely. Just those are just a couple of the names. So he beat most people on the way up. So, anyways, I like the immediate rematch. There's not a whole lot going on at 145. Anyways, like there's guys like Zabit, but Zabit's not really there yet, and Yair is like he's had a 2-5 winning streak, so neither one really deserves a title shot. So we move on to the final championship fight of the night. Amanda Nunes defeating Jermaine Duranamy via unanimous decision, looking like Habib Nurmagomedov out there, just taking ran me down again and again and again. She won 49-44, 49-46, and 49-45. If you guys can't do the math, that means one judge gave her two 10-8 rounds, one gave her one 10-8 round, and one gave her no 10-8 rounds. I gave her I think I gave her one or two. I know I gave her the fifth round at 10-8. The only real competitive moments that Jermaine had, I believe in the second or third round, she hurt her with a knee. But Amanda took her down again, and then she hurt her with an up kick. But she couldn't do anything. And Jermaine in the third or fourth went for a triangle armbar, and it looked like she had it in because Amanda was just kind of trying to take the round off. And she almost submitted her, but Amanda toughed it out. She got the win. Her 9th straight win, I believe, or 10th, something along those lines. And still the women's bantamweight champion. I'm not sure really what to say about this one. I mean, it's kind of Jermaine gave her more, problems than a lot of people expected. But I expected Jermaine to give her some issues, not on the ground, obviously. But the game plan was very similar to the first fight. Just take her down. I mean, Angel, what do you guys say about this one, man?
From the little bit I saw, man, there were some scary moments in there. Nothing I'd say too outwardly worrying for me. I guess if anything, it was just little spurts, but then Amanda did her Amanda thing and ended up making it work out.
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing new here for her. She made it work out in the end.
I guess I'll ask, what do you think is next for her? Because she said she wants to defend her women's featherweight title. And I know that the UFC set up two women's featherweight titles, not titles. They set up two women's featherweight fights. Megan Anderson taking on a undefeated prospect who's 4-0 on one of those. The other one is Felicia Spencer fighting a girl who fought Megan Anderson last time and got submitted. But then there's also Clarissa Shields, who apparently wants to fight Amanda in a boxing match and a UFC match. Of those options, do you think, who would you go with?
Shit, dude. I mean, I don't know what she wants to do, because I think at this point she's kind of goated herself in women's MMA, right? Granted, there isn't a large history of women's MMA right now, but no matter what, she will forever be there as it stands. So I don't know what her plans are. I mean, to secure the bag, though, I'd probably go with that boxing match, to be with you. To be honest with you, because one, no matter what, you get to bring it back in the ring, and once you get that first leg kick, we'll always bring the first leg kick. That's when reality strikes. So if Dana can make that work and Amanda's happy with that, she's okay taking a loss, maybe a potential loss in boxing, or who fucking knows, dude, surprising us with a potential win. That'd be pretty amazing. But I know you're big on Megan throughout the whole year. Her name's come up multiple times, so I think that could be a potentially good fight there for her. But I think it's just dependent on what her desires are when it comes to her career right now. Because if she wants the money, that boxing route isn't too bad. But if she's looking to keep cementing herself in MMA and just building up a good record, a good winning streak, that Megan fight's probably the best choice for her.
Yeah, Amanda said after the win, I guess, because Clarissa Shields was there in attendance watching the fight and talk with the reporters afterwards. And I guess she wants a boxing match and an MMA fight. And I guess Amanda only wants the MMA fight. And they asked her, what would it take for you to get in there? She'd be like, a lot of money. Well over $1 million is what she said, along those lines. And I guess Clarissa Shields responded back on Twitter that ain't no problem. So I don't know, man. It really depends. I think the UFC is just gonna wait this one out. That's the reason why they put those two featherweight fights on there with Felicia and Megan fighting other competitors. Because Felicia Spencer obviously had the fight against Cyborg, which was surprisingly competitive, looked pretty good there. And then Megan obviously riding the one fight win streak. Now she's looking to get a second one. I would like to see if whoever impresses the most out of those two should get the title shot. But at the same time, if neither one is really that impressive, go with the Clarissa Shields fight. That's my opinion. Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting because we've never really seen a super high level boxer coming into the prime of their career to fight in MMA. Like I said, we had James Toney, we've had Ray Mercer, obviously, and a couple of others, but nobody at the top of their game. And Clarissa Shields at the top of her game right now. But I think Amanda actually said, if that fight were to happen, this is MMA, I'll take you down, I'll wrestle the shit out of you. That was pretty much her exact sentence. I think that happens too. So, but Shields is a lot bigger. But that's moving on from that fight. Marlon Moraes defeating Jose Aldo via split decision. I and many other people thought Jose Aldo won this fight. And Marlon really just wanted on activity, and I hate whenever that stuff happens, but I get that sometimes it does. Basically, the first round, Marlon came out through a big spinning kick, and he landed a combination that kind of had Jose hurt, and it took him a second, but Jose got into the rhythm. He got his timing down, and after that, like initial flurry, he was dominating that round. He landed a combination near the end that like seemed to hurt Marlon, and then Marlon took him down, and I don't know. I'd have to look at the judges' scorecards, but I know it was 29-28 in both directions. I don't know exactly how that round kind of shook out, but I really thought that Jose won that fight. Second round was a clear Jose round. Third round was a Jose round for about halfway through, and then Marlon at the last minute or two kind of started throwing out a couple flurries that didn't really land, but they were doing more than what Jose was doing. Jose was coasting because he thought he had the fight in the bag, and many other people did as well, but they ended up giving it to Marlon. I don't think it was a robbery by any means, but I gave the fight to Jose, and I know that Henry Cejudo and Dana White both gave the fight to Jose, and Henry Cejudo, who is now only the bantamweight champion, if you guys haven't heard, Cejudo wants to fight Jose next in Rio, and I think that would be an interesting fight, but I don't, man, I don't like that. I don't like that fight. I mean, even though I thought he won that fight, I don't think he should get a title shot off it. Angel, did you see this fight?
No, I didn't. Sadly, I'm sad that I missed out on that.
All right. Well, so not a whole lot to, talk about there outside of the kind of issue of him possibly getting a title shot. Did you see? Okay, so I'm assuming you haven't seen anything else outside of like the top 3 fights.
I did. I looked up what happened with Mike Perry because that's my boy. Heartbroken with that fucking leg kick to the head. It didn't seem like it was a clear shot, but it fucked him up, and the man just laid on my boy Mike Perry. Sadly.
Did you see Petr Yan kill Uriah Faber?
In the fucking third round, I looked up the highlight,
so
dude.
Brutal.
It was pretty bad. I didn't think it'd be that bad. That man's a father.
That first round was pretty close, I'll be honest with you. And I was like kind of getting excited, like, man, this fight could be a banger. And then Uriah went out and got hurt like immediately in the second round, and then he came back and he was like kind of taunting like Petr Yan, like, is that all you got? I'm like, oh boy, here we go. This one's gonna be a banger because like he got hurt and then he tagged Peter with a right hand, and then I don't know, man. It was just, and then he got really messed up from there. Definitely very sad, very depressing, and I felt really, really dumb for picking him. But yeah, Petr Yan should be in that conversation for title shot next.
Heartbreaking defeat for Uriah.
Very heartbreaking. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the end of his career.
Well, that's kind of already happened in a way, when he retired. But
yeah, the first time. But I mean, we're talking second time.
We're talking second time, man.
But maybe this will be the end of his career the second time, but we don't know. Now I guess we can move on to the final UFC card of the year. UFC Busan in Korea, I believe. I believe it's in South Korea, but I'm not exactly the greatest on my geography. Main event, Frankie Edgar Chan versus Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. I like this fight a lot, and I'm really surprised the two have not fought. Like, they've never fought before, which is kind of weird, but then again, you have to take in Korean Zombie. Like, he was inactive for like a really long time due to his military service. But still, a bit surprised it hasn't happened. This fight should be a banger on paper. I like it a lot. I don't like that they pulled Frankie from the Corey Sandhagen fight. I thought that fight was awesome, and I would have loved to see him down at bantamweight. But instead, we're getting this one. He stepped in on short notice, relatively short notice. I think it's 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I'm taking the Korean Zombie here, man. I think he's gonna be bigger than Frankie because we don't know how deep he was into that cut down to 135. And Frankie's already a super small guy at 145, and his punching power, Korean Zombie's punching power is great. He looks top form right now. I'm taking the Korean Zombie.
So what's up, my guy? Dude, no, I gotta take the Korean Zombie too. Man, that loss to Yair, bro. As last second as it could be, that behind the elbow fucking, shot. I didn't get to see the whole fight, so I don't know who would have won that. But I will always bring this up, Josh. Ever since I started watching MMA, you mentioned to me the Korean fucking zombie back in high school, and I've still yet to see a full fight, and I hope that tomorrow morning I wake up early enough to see a full fight of the Korean zombie, and I see him victorious because I want it to happen so bad. And also, I wasn't a crazy big fan of Frankie's last fight with Max. I mean, Max just kind of, first of all, like I said, Max looked like he was on fucking Adderall when he was fighting him, focused as hell, broke
He
him
looked
down.
perfect.
He looked perfect, perfect, perfect. Granted, that could have been accredited to him just being perfect that fight, but with the weight cut and all this and that, whatever it may be, I'm not too confident about that. So I imagine, that will play into this, and the Korean Zombie should come in, like you said, a little bit big, a little bit physically better, and obviously, only an inch of height doesn't make a big difference, but a little bit more reach,
Yeah,
So we'll see what happens there.
for sure, for sure. The co-main event of the evening, it's gonna be 5 a.m. our time. Volkan Ozdemir taking on Alexander Rakic. These are two very young light heavyweights. Rakic, I believe, is undefeated in the UFC. And if he's not undefeated, then he's definitely on a good streak. I know he knocked out Jim Manawa last time out. I know he's beat Devin Clark. And Volkan Ozdemir, obviously we know his credentials. Former light heavyweight title challenger. Knocked out Jimmy Manoa and Misha Serkinov, beat Ovince St. Preux, and he knocked out Ilir Latifi last time out. I thought he beat Dominic Reyes as well before that. I'm taking Ozdemir here. I think Rakic has a lot of great tools. I think his striking is great. I think he's a really, really big light heavyweight too. I believe he's 6'5". But I think that Volkan's just gonna take him down. I think he's gonna try and out-grapple him because we haven't seen a whole lot of Rakic's grappling, and I think he has great distance management and great striking power as well. I'm taking Volkan here, but I think it's really gonna be really, really interesting because I feel like I don't know, man. I've gone back and forth on this pick a lot, but I'm gonna go Volkan.
I'm going with, dude. I'm kind of sad. I wish I'd seen a bit more Rakic before this because the last thing I saw was obviously the Jimmy Manoa win, which was a brutal knockout.
Yeah.
Very brutal. As for Volkan, I've seen Volkan. I think pretty sure I saw your Latifi fight last time around. If I'm not wrong. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing I saw of him. I can't remember prior to that. So I mean, opinion-wise, I want to say something, but it's like, I mean, like with what I'm hearing here, like we haven't seen too much of Rakic in that sense. We saw, at least from what I saw, it was just that one nasty knockout. The hands look good, but if you're saying is like if he takes it to the ground and he gets tested there, I could, obviously if that test comes to hand, I mean, if you have nothing on the ground, you get fucked up, man, in MMA. So yeah. We'll have to see if that is true. I guess I'll give the Volkan in that case. But if it stays on the feet, maybe it favors Rakic. I don't know. Just kind of putting that out there.
All right. Moving on to a fight that the last one we're going to talk about on the main card, and one that I have a lot of interest in, and it's Doo Ho Choi making his return against Charles Jourdain. Jourdain's a pretty decent guy at featherweight, not ranked or not super highly rated, but he's definitely not an easy out. And obviously Doo Ho Choi, I love this guy. He's been gone for a while. He's been inactive. Pretty sure because of military service, but I don't know for sure. Obviously he fought. He came into the UFC 3-0, knockout wins all in like a minute or two against Juan Puig, Sam Sicilian, Thiago Tavares. He took on Cub Swanson in the UFC 206, and that was a fight of the night. One of my favorite. That was my fight of the year, honestly. And he gave Cub a war. That fight was awesome. Came back, faced Jeremy Stevens in the main event of a fight night card. I thought that was a terrible matchmaking choice, and it proved to be one. He got really messed up in that fight. Just pretty depressing. It wasn't even close, but yeah, man, he lost via TKO in the second round. He took a lot of damage in those two fights, and he's taken almost 2 years off now. He fought in January 2018, and he's back. I'm taking Doo Ho Choi via knockout. I'm back on the Doo Ho Choi train.
It's dope, man.
Do you have a prediction for that one?
No, I don't. Should I keep an eye out though?
You should. Do you remember the Choi?
I don't. It's been a minute, man. Trying to
Damn.
think. But like you said, I'm guessing it was military service because in Korea they have military service. So I imagine that's what it was.
Yeah. Um. Do you want to move on to the NBA?
Yes, my guy.
All right. So this is a bit of a light week. But we're going to be talking about the Bucks and the Lakers for the most part here. Bucks to Lakers, obviously both on very long win streaks. For the Lakers, they actually were having a really long win streak. Um, and then obviously it got ended, and they started up a new one, and they were on like a seven game win streak, and that ended. I believe they lost to the Pacers, something along some team along those lines. And then obviously, the Bucks have been on a historic win streak. They've been winning all of their games. I don't know the exact mark. I believe it was 17 or 18.
It might have got into 20s, bro.
It might have. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember like how far it was though.
It was deep though. It was double digits, 100%. But I think it might have almost hit the 20s.
Yeah, it got close.
It got close for sure.
Anyways, yeah. So they ended up losing. They both did. They had this big matchup. It was going to be on TNT. It was very hyped up of the two most like the hottest teams in the NBA right now. And then they both lost before they even got to that point. I know who did the Bucks lose to? I believe it was the Mavericks, if I remember correctly. But regardless, they both lost before their big matchup, and then obviously they ended up facing off like the next day or the day after that, something along those lines. And then the Bucks ended up getting the big win. I know Giannis killed it, and I saw that the Bucks Twitter was kind of talking shit, like poking fun at the Lakers. Like I know they posted like a screenshot of the Lakers whenever they said like consider this a warning, like after the Lakers smashed a team, and they were like, does this only apply to the preseason? And I was like, damn guys, you guys are getting a little bit cocky, man. I wouldn't do that. I mean, but listen, man, the Bucks are still legit. Do you think that they are the greatest team in the East? Like, obviously, they had the win streak, but do you think just overall they're the greatest team in the East?
Dude, the fact that I have Giannis, I think that just makes it all, man. I don't think anybody in the East has a player like Giannis. I think he is like that, guy who's just different from the rest, just like Anthony Davis is, like for the Lakers. Because there's no one in the West who's like AD, I mean, outside of, LeBron, who's just different from everybody, with his build, his style of play, his experience, everything. I think for the East, the equivalent of just that guy who's very different from the rest, I think is Giannis. I don't think you can compare anybody on the Celtics, the Heat, the Raptors, the Sixers, the Pacers, the Nets, the Magic, the Hornets, Pistons, anybody like that. No one is in like comparable to Giannis or has any just unique ability like Giannis.
For sure.
And it's no hate to any of the players, because let me tell you this: all the teams I just named off have talented guys who are all unique in their own way, and that's why they're here in the NBA. And obviously they've clearly successful to that because they're playing at the highest level that you can play in the whole world. And when it comes to basketball, it's just that Giannis is physically gifted, and obviously he himself is taking advantage of that and taking it to the next level with his team, and he continues to improve every year. And it's just a matter of a number of tiny little things, and him just fixing tiny things, just becoming the best version of himself he can be.
Definitely. So, I'm not really sure what else to talk about in the NBA this week.
Well, I actually do have some tiny news that we can close on. Okay, so yesterday, Jace Wiseman, the number one recruited player in high school, number one player who went into college, said he was pulling out. He's just leaving college. Basically, what had happened was Penny Hardaway had helped his family, giving them like $11,500 to help his family move to Memphis. Now, the reasoning for that, I don't know if it was for recruiting reasons, whatever it may be, or if he was just doing it out of his kindness because he had already planned to move there. It's just that the family was struggling to find money, whatever it may be, right? Thing is, Hardaway happens to be the coach for Memphis, who ended up recruiting him not too long after he moved to Memphis with his family. And, the NCAA did some, investigating. They found out that he gave him money, that they gave him money around this time, this, and that. Uh, he ended up telling him that he would have to give that money back to charity, and basically he's working through that whole process. And it was a whole court case, a whole big deal. He ended up not being able to play games, I think, and it was just a whole mess. And the only reason the money was given was not used for anything outside of just helping his family move from I completely forgot where it was, from wherever they were at previously to Memphis. And it was just suspicious because he ended up getting an offer from Memphis not too long after he moved to Memphis. So I guess last night or yesterday morning, I'm not sure, he announced on his Instagram that he will be moving, stepping away from the team, no longer being part of the Memphis college team, and be focusing for the NBA draft. And obviously, this is a big deal because he was the number one kid coming in, highly regarded, and now people are questioning his draft stock, this, and that. Where does he sit at? So it's just kind of a crappy situation for him. One, because he has to find a way to pull this money together. His family has to. And two, he's unable to, I'm guessing fulfill maybe his, dream of playing college ball and being successful.
Do you think that him kind of not being able to showcase his skills in college, do you think it's going to drop him? Like, how far do you think it's going to drop him, if at all?
I mean, when it comes to scouts, I assume a fair bit. I mean, the people who like him will always like him, who kept an eye on him. That's for sure. But those who didn't know a lot about him and were ready to see him in college, because I'm sure there's plenty of scouts that, for the tanking teams or the lower teams, they keep an eye on, the guys. They get their list. I mean, these people are trained, man. They keep up with their stuff. I mean, they probably follow these kids since, their middle school days playing AAU basketball, especially nowadays. But, I mean, I imagine it to be a fair bit, especially with a big man, dude. You just want to see where he's at, especially in this modern age of the NBA. You want to see where big man's at, in college going into the NBAs. I mean, just look at the many big men we've had drafted like highly throughout the last years. And Embiid with the injuries, Nerlens, who didn't end up turning out to be, that interior force we all thought. Just to name those two off. So yeah, it didn't affect him a lot. But I mean, obviously, I hope he makes a good name for himself when it comes to draft time, and obviously, whenever they have their sort of combine that doesn't really matter, but they still do it because the NBA is like, well, it looks nice and it gets viewers, so we'll do it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there.
No, I'm glad you did, because I heard about that and I just forgot to bring it up right now. But really kind of quick thing, who's facing off tonight?
Ooh.
The Suns and the Thunder.
Ooh, Josh.
As a part of that battle for the 7th, 8th seed. The Suns have fallen off, but,
Booker's been out for a while, and Aiden just got back in. That's my excuse.
That's your excuse. Thunder, they're climbing back to 500, man. They're the 7th seed right now. I can't believe it. Our tanking squad with over 1,000 draft picks.
Over 1,000 draft picks. Dude, it's still close, bro. 12 through, I'll still say 12 through 6 is still a war.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I think the Thunder are really going to drop out soon because I think they're going to trade Danilo. And people that don't watch the Thunder, everybody talks about trading Chris Paul. It's really Danilo Gallinari that you got to look out for.
No one's going to take Chris Paul's contract. That's the thing.
Yeah, I could see him not finishing up. Not really necessarily finishing up his career in OKC, but he'll be here for the next until his contract ends.
Oh yeah.
Until somebody gets super desperate.
Someone's like, fuck. Okay, we'll take it.
Yeah, man. People talk about him getting moved. He's not getting moved. He's not. It's
not a realistic move for any team or a smart move. No hate.
It's just not for any good team. It's not. It's not gonna be a good move. But as a Thunder fan, I'm glad we got him. So, are you ready to move on to the world of boxing? Because we have a lot of boxing stuff to talk about.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right. Did you see the Jeff Horn versus Michael Zarafa fight?
I did not. Was that good?
It was one of my favorite fights of the year. And I was very shocked because I was on here talking about how he's going to get smashed. He's going to retire after this. And I guess these two had legit beef because I guess there was a clause in their contract to where there was going to be a rematch if Jeff Horn lost. Because obviously he's a bigger star than Zarafa. and Zarafa beat him. And I guess Zarafa had a chance to, I don't know if it was like fight for a title or have a big fight. He usually had like the chance to fight for like a way bigger fight. He's gonna get paid like 500K. And so what happened was Jeff Horn's like, nah, man, you gotta fight me. Like that's what our contract says. And I guess he was only gonna get paid like 100,000, 150 from that.
Oh,
And
what a
Zarafa,
loss.
huh?
What a loss.
Yeah. So Zarafa was like, dude, just step aside. We'll give you some money right now. And I guess his team was willing to pay Jeff Horn to step aside so they can have like that big fight and get like a bigger payday. And Jeff Horn's like, no, we're gonna fight. And so I guess Zarafa was pissed off about that. He thought he was gonna knock him out. He's gonna finish his career. And Jeff Horn went out there, and the 9th round was one of my favorite rounds of the year for me. Anyways, this is a back and forth fight most of the way through, and Zarafa in the 9th round, similar to Manny in the 9th round against Jeff Horn, by the way, just beating the hell out of Jeff Horn. He was putting it on him, and it really looked like he might have been stopped. And the Jeff Horn, like, he kind of separated, and he landed like a right hook as Zarafa was like going back, and he dropped him and nearly finished him, and like he clipped him, and it was like kind of an awesome moment. And Zarafa still dominated past that. Like he survived the 9th. In the 10th, he dominated and ended up only finishing after 10 rounds. They only went to 10 instead of 12. If they went to 12, I think Zarafa wins. But Jeff did enough in the early rounds to get that win. And I was pleasantly surprised, man. Jeff Horn, this is a really nice win for him. Like for all of the shit that I talked about him last week.
And he made up for his previous loss against them.
Yeah.
And a TKO too.
Yeah, because that wasn't even close, man. I watched that. He got his ass whooped. Like that was a really bad loss, and he came back and he got the win here, and I was really, really surprised. Like I was really surprised. It's one of my favorite fights of the year. It's probably right now. It's probably. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm kind of a casual. Like I'll say it. I'm a casual boxing fan. It's up with Inoue and Donaire, which is the number one for me. Ruiz and Josh were the first one.
Oh,
and this is somewhere probably in the top 5. Somewhere in the top 5.
I guess before we close out, maybe I don't know. Do you want to? I guess I mean there won't be content for next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was actually I was thinking we can do like an award show next week, something fun like that.
An award show, or top 5 MMA fights of the year, or top 5 boxing matches.
Yeah.
Our favorite boxing news of the year, or just general sports news of the year.
Events of the year, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what I was actually talking to you about that whenever we got done here.
Well, look at that. You brought it up now. Just thinking about it now.
All right, well, you guys have that to look forward to next week.
Yeah, I was about to say we're gonna have probably what is it? If we we're probably gonna have 1 week off. We're not gonna probably do anything for that New Year's week. In theory, right? Because I mean there won't be anything really.
There's nothing.
So we'll have a little bit of downtime at the start of the year.
Yeah, there's no UFC. There's no boxing at the start of the year. We pretty much have to rely on NBA probably.
Or any interesting news that comes out, so we'll figure it out.
Well, we'll figure it out, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, man, that was an awesome fight, and that's definitely gonna make my top 5 next week. So yeah, you should watch it when you have some free time.
Oh yeah, for sure, I'll check it out.
And the other fight of that night, actually, that was the date. Oh shit, I forgot that was Wednesday. That's so weird. Anyway, so that Saturday night was Terrence Crawford versus Mean Machine. Full credit to Mean Machine, very much the giant underdog coming in here. Not a whole lot of people knew his name, which is why they referred to him as Mean Machine. They also couldn't pronounce it. I'm among that group.
Same.
And anyways, he came out there, and I don't know if Terrence Crawford he kind of was having an off night, or he's kind of like, man, I don't feel like fighting this guy. I'd rather I think he might have taken him too lightly because he got dropped in a round. It wasn't count as a knockdown, but it totally, absolutely was a knockdown. And in case you're wondering how fixed boxing is, so a judge gave him that round in which he got knocked down. And that wasn't even, he got knocked down in that, but he was also getting dominated that round. Mean Machine made it into a fight. He made it into a brawl. And it looked like Terrence Crawford, once he got knocked down, he's like, all right, I got to take this dude serious. And he took him serious. And ended up getting the TKO in the 9th round, I believe. He definitely got the nice win. And afterwards, he was like, you guys know I want these fights. I want, basically just blaming on promoters. I saw Tim Bradley was doing it on commentary. They don't want to fight him. They don't. And I'm like, I mean,
there's a promotional issue to a certain extent, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's more of Crawford's side. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely Crawford's side that's kind of holding up these things like on that side. And here's the thing: is I think that Terrence Crawford is the greatest like at that weight class. But
Dude, but he hasn't
we
fought
haven't gotten.
any of those top 5 guys though. That's the issue.
I know, and that sucks. Like,
Everybody else has fought, like, all jokes aside, like, all those guys have fought each other, except maybe Manny hasn't fought, like, many of those guys within there. But it's like, dude, he hasn't touched Earl, Sean, Danny, you know, Keith, Mikey, any of those guys. Not even Broner as a meme, you know what I mean?
Broner. And Broner would be a total meme. But, like, and it's like he's beating guys that aren't bad, you know, like, Mean Machine was a good guy who was unproven. Amir Khan was a joke of a fight, but you know,
it's still a name. It's still a name.
It's a good name on there. Jose Benavidez, you know,
Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn, our boy. That was fine. Julius Indigongo. I'm pretty sure I just said his name wrong. Totally did. And he has some good names, and I think he might be the greatest of that weight class, but he's not showing it because of promoters.
Yeah, he doesn't have those top 5 names. At least some of these other champions. And there's no hate to him because he's clearly talented, bro. It is so obvious. It's just absolutely. He hasn't had those. Because I feel like most of the other champions in other weight classes have fought at least one, 2 guys, top 5. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And then when it comes to like pound for pound, he's the one who hasn't really fought many top 5 guys.
It sucks because he's so good. Like you can see his talent.
Oh yeah, dude. Because when you do the top pound for pound list, I mean, you see Loma there, you see him there, you see Canelo there, you see Joshua there, and it's like out of all those guys, like, and people highly rank Bud. The issue is, for me, the issue with Bud is it's like Bud just hasn't fought the people. Like Bud has the skills, but he just hasn't fought the people.
Yeah, which sucks because I don't know, man. I want to see him against the higher echelon.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean the Earl Spence one that's getting pushed, but I mean that's delayed now because of the whole Earl like crash car situation, man.
Which really sucks, but you know.
I mean, shit. And if you want a big pay-per-view, dude, I mean, just do Manny versus Bud. I mean, if that's even a possibility. But the issue, like,
who's
I don't
Manny
know.
Up against next? Like,
I don't know. Nothing's been talked about that. I saw something on the sports betting website, right? That he had like they had him against Danny by the end of the year, something crazy like that. So I don't know, maybe that's been a rumor or something. But the thing is, it's I mean, he needs a name. Like, he just took 2. All jokes aside, he just took 2 names. Like Adrian Broner, maybe at this point in time, isn't the biggest name, but he's not a bad, like fight by any means. Like Broner still put up I'd say a pretty good performance against Manny, right? To a certain extent. I mean, Manny outboxed him to the max, did
yeah.
everything. But Broner's still like,
he's
Broner's,
good.
He's no, F tier boxer, to put it like that.
He's better than Amir Khan at this moment.
I mean, let's set that up and find out.
I would actually like to see that, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, I don't know. Maybe I think Mikey and like Manny is like the bigger rumor.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn said something about that.
Yeah, but I think Mikey's already locked up though, right?
Yeah, Mikey is taking on Jesse Vargas, which I like that fight.
Yeah, that's a big rumor. So I don't know. I mean, and I know Danny's really trying to get that title shot. I don't know if you remember that. I think he was there during the Earl Spence fight, right?
I believe so.
So yeah. I think the only one like in a weird spot right now is Sean, but that's because he just lost to Earl. So there's no hate there.
Yeah.
He just needs to rebuild himself.
According to Eddie Hearn, Saudi Arabia wants Manny Pacquiao versus Mikey Garcia.
Oh, that's bank right there, bro.
That's massive bank.
That's massive bank. That's massive bank. That's a good ass fight for both of them, to be honest.
Yeah, but also that's a really good fight. But Mikey, he's tied up right now, so.
It'll be a while.
But then again, Manny's not exactly a super active guy, anyways.
Well, as of now, but yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I mean, 2 fights in 2019, and I think 1 in 2018.
But the guy is 41.
Oh, absolutely.
Just turned 41 like a couple days ago. Yeah, this week. And so did someone else. Who was it? Someone else turned something this week, a boxer or someone. I don't know. But that's besides the point. I don't know. There's a lot of theory crafting here with these matches. Thing is, though, that's that for that, right?
I believe so. Do you want to move on to the biggest boxing news of the week before we get into previews?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Jake Paul taking on AnEsonGib. Did I say his name right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right, cool. Because I feel like I'm always messing up his name. But AnEsonGib. Obviously these two have gone back and forth for months now. A lot of people wanted to see him on the Logan Paul versus KSI undercard. It didn't happen. And apparently, we've heard the rumblings for a couple weeks now. At the very least, probably more like a month. We've heard the rumblings of these two. They're going to show down. And I believe Gib is 2-0 as an amateur, and Jake is obviously 1-0 with the win over Deji. And apparently they're
Class
looking
opponent.
at. Oh, totally, man. Obviously, that's next level opponent. That's okay. Anyways, so they're talking about putting them on the undercard of, well, actually, what Matchroom Boxing, what Eddie Hearn said is that he's close to finalizing a deal between both of them for the undercard of Andrade and Luke Keeler. And I like that fight a lot. Apparently, it would replace Tevin Farmer versus Joseph Diaz as the co-main, which is
Farmer's a champ, right? Or was it former
yes,
champ?
he is.
Oh my god,
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, that would be the co-main on that, and that is we're back, man. We're back to the YouTube fights.
I have no issue with it. It's entertaining.
I don't either.
It brings people in.
And I'm really glad that they're doing it on the as the co-main this time.
I mean, last time it was different though, because it was too big.
It was way bigger.
It was way bigger. It was a bigger deal.
For sure. But I'm glad that Andrade might get some clout from this.
Oh yeah.
Because Andrade, that's what they need. That's what they need from him if they're trying to get that Canelo fight for him.
Well, I mean, and Charlo, bro. I mean, I just thought they should have done Andrade versus Charlo, bro. Both put their titles on the line.
Oh man, I would like that too. And full credit to Luke Keeler, he has a decent shot in this. Like, I'm not even saying he'll get blown out.
All right.
I like that fight a lot.
You have faith in the Irishman?
I don't have faith necessarily in that'll win, but I have faith in that'll make it a fight.
Okay.
And I like that. I like that the fact that
we love fights.
Huh?
We like fights out here, bro.
We do like fights out here. I don't know, man. I'm not as excited for this one. I'm sure we're gonna still have a super long preview show when it actually happens, but I don't know, man. I think it's pretty cool.
I mean, I'll be entertained. I mean, it's the champ fighting, and then we got a YouTuber fight. I can't even hate.
Yeah, it's not as hyped up as KSI and Logan Paul, but that one was a bit different. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's still good though. I mean, I'll watch it.
your initial reaction. Who do you got?
For what?
What do you mean? What?
You talking about Gib and Jake?
Of course, man. You got the 7-figure giver, or do you got Jake Paul?
Oh my god! This is a hard one because I like Gib. Crazy enough though, I don't know how much Jake has improved because he didn't look. I thought he was a way better boxer than Logan. 100%. 100%. I think he's a way better boxer than Logan. I think he's a way better. I don't think he's as physically imposing, physically out there, but I think he has maybe the better mentality and all that. I think he's a better boxer, 100%. When it comes out of those two, Gib is good too, dude. Gib has fight in him. He's a fighter, so we're gonna get a fight. We're gonna get 100% gonna be different than Logan versus JJ. These guys are gonna hit each other. They're both gonna seek that win, whether or not they're gonna have. I can honestly maybe see a cleaner boxing match here. Because I at least when I saw Jake, I mean he looked a little bit better just boxing wise. Used his jab, stay behind it, he played it smart. He looked a little bit better, footwork looked nice, and he's been constantly training. He never quit training from his fight against when he prepared from his fight with Deji until now. He hasn't quit training. He stayed in it. Gib has been active, running, staying healthy. He looks in great shape. Obviously he's had one more amateur boxing match to him, just a little bit more experience. Neither of them has faced any good opponent. I think they're both maybe matched unless Jake maybe has the edge on him. It's gonna be. I think it's a close fight. I think honestly, if it goes to the cards, it'd be a close fight. Maybe even a draw, just because they make it close. I don't. It's hard to predict the favorite because, like we said in the the Logan and JJ fight. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are amateurs. We haven't seen much out of them, so it makes it very difficult to predict a match. Um, just for the fandom, I'll take Gibble. Just to throw a name out there. Gib will be a decision if it does happen.
I'm also picking Gib. I had the opposite opinion of you. I thought Logan looked significantly better than Jake, but also, I don't know, man. We haven't seen him in a long time, and I was never super impressed with Gib. Obviously he has 2 wins, but yeah, man, 6 rounds, matchroom boxing.
You would have wanted Sensei against Jake more.
I would have preferred the Dylan Dennis fight. I would have liked to see Dylan Dennis versus Jake, but
that would have been interesting. I mean, if Jake wins here, I think there's a good opportunity to call him out and secure the bag and get out.
Secure the bag.
Oh, dude, that'd be the plan. That'd be the plan, dude.
I think the move, honestly, to make is Sensei versus anyone. Sensei versus anyone in the top of YouTube boxing. You know what I mean? Sensei versus.
Well, that's because they won't do KSI. Box at a professional level.
That's true. They won't do Sensei versus KSI. That would never happen. They're friends. Actually, I don't think that would happen. I don't know if
Or who knows? Maybe Jake goes for the call out, bro. If Jake wins, he calls out JJ. He's like, bro, you beat my brother, but you're not gonna beat me.
I think that's what makes sense.
I think that would make sense. That'll sell. End of the year.
Right there.
End of the year, Obviously, he fights January. He's like, something, we'll do it for December or November, something like that. October, whatever you want to. End of the year. See, JJ, you got it. We'll just run it back.
I think that's what makes sense. I think that's kind of what they should be angling.
That's a power move. At least if I were Jake and I were to win the fight, instantly get on the mic, be like, JJ, give me the fight, bro.
And then Sensei versus someone on the undercard.
Yeah, Dylan, Dan. That's kidding.
Actually, that'd be a damn good fight. I'd watch that. Sensei versus Dylan. I think that makes a lot of sense. But
they both, all jokes aside, like striking wise, they probably have the same amount of experience.
I don't know. See, the problem with Dylan is that we don't get to see his striking.
That's what I'm saying, though. All Sensei's ever done his whole life is striking, though.
Yeah.
And Sensei is older, so I mean that gives him some. I don't know. A lot, like I told you, a lot of theory crafting when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we can move on to our. I mean, do you have anything else to add? Or do you want to move on to the previews?
No. I'll move on.
All right. So, happening later today, because I made the assumption of the very bad assumption of thinking this would make sense, of Daniel Jacobs, Julio Chavez Jr. on a Saturday. That's actually tonight. That's a Friday night boxing match. Chavez missed weight by, was it 5 pounds?
Oh, fuck, I didn't know that.
I think it was 5 pounds, and that was taking place at 173. It was supposed to be at 168. I know Daniel Jacobs was pissed off, and I know Chavez getting fined. He was actually wasn't going to take the fight, but Chavez is getting fined a lot of money. Like at least $1 million. Of his $1 million, he's making a couple mil for this fight, so he's getting fined a lot. Listen, man, I've never been high on Chavez Jr., but I think he's a very profitable punching bag for anybody who wants to kind of get a name on their list. And I honestly, the last straw for me was the Canelo fight, because I didn't expect him to win, but I expected him to actually go out there and box, and he kind of just he didn't do anything for 12 rounds. So ever since then, I haven't taken him seriously, and he missed weight by 5 pounds. I think Daniel Jacobs should go out there and put a hurting on him.
I don't know, man. I mean, Daniel looked great last time out. I mean, Julio against Canelo just could. God, dude, that was some abuse. I mean, if anything, if he wants to come back and look good, I mean, here's his opportunity. But I don't think it's gonna happen tonight. I think if anything, dude, Jacobs could finish him. I think I see a world where that could happen. But I think more likely than anything, it'll be a decision win and a very decisive win for him. Or who knows? Maybe these guys put on a show for us, bro. I think if anything, that's more likely to happen. These guys both come out here. They're both hungry for it. They have a common loss in an opponent, and they put on. They just bang for us, and I think that's all we can desire as a boxing fan. Because I mean, right now, these guys, at least trajectory-wise, they're not going too far up, but they're not going down either. You know what I mean? They're somewhere in the middle. So I mean, as far as that, I mean, they'll both be getting a nice little fat paycheck and hopefully giving us an entertaining fight
Yeah,
and
I hope
taking a
it's
name
entertaining.
and
I
taking a
hope
name.
it's entertaining. But I think Jacobs is gonna go out there and possibly finish him.
Oh yeah, I got you. I want Simba.
Um, so now we move on to my more anticipated boxing match of the weekend, which is the rematch of Tony Harrison versus Jermell Charlo that happened last year, I believe. Around the same time, I'm pretty sure the rematch is taking place like a year apart. Um, I thought Charlo won that fight. I thought he got not a clear win, but it wasn't a robbery by any means, but I thought he won. Bounced back early this year with a KO win over Jorge Cota on short notice after he dropped out, and that was set for June. The rematch was originally. Um, Anyways, man, I'm taking Charlo here. I think it's going to be a war. I think he's pissed off. I think he's going to go out there and I think he's going to beat Tony Harrison. Like, Harrison's really, really good, but I think I've got Charlo.
Get that title back.
That's what I think.
You think so? I mean, dude, I remember last time around, like the TV. I mean, it was on TV for free. The boxing match was, and all I remember, at the time I wasn't keeping up crazy amount of boxing, but I was aware of obviously the Charlotte twins and what they were and what they were capable of, and I saw that Charlo lost, and I was looking at some of the highlights. And I was like, oh shit, that's unexpected. I didn't think Charlo loses. Like, it's not even because I kept up with boxing a lot, because I knew too much about him at the time or about the opponent, but it was definitely like, oh snap, okay, that just happened. And I remember bringing it up to you, and we weren't even doing the podcast at the time or anything. And I remember you said, I feel like you can make a better argument for Jamal losing his fight than this Charlotte, or Jermell losing his fight, than this Charlotte twin losing his fight.
Yeah, because they were on the same card.
I was like, crazy enough.
I was like, I thought it was a pretty clear win for Jamal over Tony Harrison. I was like, I thought the Jamal fight was closer.
Yeah, but
I mean, I thought they both won, but like, I never got that decision, and I still don't.
I mean, they're running it back tomorrow, so I mean, it's an opportunity to make up for that loss. I think, and it wasn't a finish, it wasn't anything bad, so it doesn't stain his record too badly. I mean, it'll always be there, but hey, man, this is an opportunity to make up for it, and I think that's dope. I feel like usually when a boxer comes back after a loss, especially a good one like himself, they usually take the W, so I think he will do it. Hopefully, I imagine a decision win, because last time around, I mean, I didn't think they hurt themselves too badly, if I remember. It's been a minute, man. But hopefully he can get that decision win, take that title back, and look for unification or some shit like that, because Julian Williams is holding, I think, 3 titles right now, and then Jaime, the young up-and-coming guy that the last maybe 3 years been building his name up, finally has a title up there. I don't know what he's holding, so some good fights to set up there.
Definitely. So to get your official prediction, you got Charlo, I assume?
Yeah, Charlotte.
All right, nice. Is there anything else we have to talk about this week before we bounce out of here?
My boy Rico.
Oh man, that's right. Fuck, I meant to put that in. We almost forgot about that. Shit. All right, so
it's technically boxing in a way.
It's all right. Yeah, sorta. All right, so
it is
we
boxing.
have
It works out.
Kickboxing, Glory Collision 2. Rico Verhoeven, the current Glory heavyweight champion of the world, taking on one of the kickboxing goats, and Badr Hari, taking place in the Netherlands, I believe. If you guys don't know the backstory here, Rico and Badr fought once before in kickboxing. I believe in
It's been like
2016. In 2016, it was pretty back and forth. Badr won the first round. In the second round, Rico broke his arm with a kick, and he could not continue. And now we're back. Badr has been gone from the sport of kickboxing. He's only fought once since that loss. He beat oh my god, Hiseti Gurges. I hope I pronounced his name right. Via unanimous decision. Changed to no contest after both of them tested positive for PEDs.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
and I know Badr got arrested, and I believe he spent some time. He spent like 6 months in jail for breaking the law again. Somewhere in there. Rico, since then, he's beaten a couple good guys. He beat Bigfoot Silva. Jamal Ben Sadiq. Guto Inosite was his last win at Glory 59, Amsterdam. And that was last year. He's had a year off. He's back taking on Badr Hari. I'm very, very excited for this. I think Badr's one of the goats, man, of kickboxing. I don't think you'll find too many people that disagree with that. I believe he's a former K1 champion. I know that even if he's not a former K1 champion, I know he's beaten some of the best. Anderson Silva, not that Anderson Silva, but Anderson Silva, the kickboxer, who's still really, really great.
Heartbreaking.
Peter Graham, Gokhan Saki, Overeem, Sammy Schultz, Peter Ertz, Hongman Choi, Ray Sefo. Ray Sefo's one of the goats. Saki twice. So he has a lot of amazing wins, but I think the time off, and I think if he's coming in, I'm pretty sure he's still on those supplements, but let's say he's not on those supplements. He looks smaller this time. I'm taking Rico via decision. I think it's gonna be a hard fought decision. I think that he's gonna try and tire him out, because if you guys don't know Rico's style, Badr's the type of guy that kind of balls to the wall, throwing a bunch of strikes, just doing everything, throwing everything at the kitchen sink and seeing what works. And a lot of the time that works. He has a lot of knockouts on his record. I'm pretty sure he has like something that's saying like 100 wins. I know he's like, his credentials are just ridiculous, but he's very much an action type of guy, very much an action fighter. 100 wins in kickboxing, 92 of those via knockout. Rico, on the other hand, 55 wins, 10 losses, and I believe of those, only 16 knockouts/TKOs. He's definitely a guy that wears you down. He's more of a tactical guy. If the finish comes, that's fine for him. If it doesn't come, that's all right too. But yeah, man, this will be happening probably something like early tomorrow, if I had to guess. But I'm taking Rico here. I just think Rico, he's in the prime of his career right now. He hasn't lost in quite some time. I don't think he's lost in the last 4 or 5 years. He's a Glory reigning champ. And listen, a lot of people are like, Badr had a really good. He was really, really good with Badr. Badr has a really good first round. He was winning that fight before the injury. I'm like, yeah, but you know why that fight got stopped? Due to an injury caused by Rico. So yeah, man, I'm taking Rico via decision. Angel, I know that you don't know a whole lot about these guys, but do you got any type of thing to contribute?
Bro, I saw the rematch. Not the rematch. I saw the last fight. At least a little bit I could, and I mean there wasn't too much there. But I thought Rico looked really good. Maybe I don't know a crazy amount about kickboxing, but all I know is Rico's been killing it. He's at least from what I hear, the best of this era. So, or at least been killing it. When it comes to this, maybe one of the best, if not the best of this era when it comes to heavyweights. And I mean, from what I hear, the only name he doesn't have is this man. So I gotta give it to Rico, man. Hopefully Rico takes that decision win. I heard him on the Tyson Fury podcast, and he has a lot of hope in him, a lot of faith in him. He respects the hell out of him, and I mean that's an opinion that comes from someone who's been through a lot and knows a lot about boxing, and clearly loves mixed martial arts and all combat sports a lot. So I respect his opinion, and I gotta take that knowledge that I have from him to mine.
Definitely. So we're both in agreement there. An awesome fight. If you guys want to watch it, I believe it's tomorrow on Fight Pass. I think that's where that's airing. I know Glory normally airs on Fight Pass, but I don't know if this is going to be a pay-per-view or what's the deal there. But most likely Fight Pass. So I believe that now wraps us up. And there's other fights on there. Alex Pereira is one that I keep an eye on. But yeah, for the most part, mostly just pay attention for the main event. But yeah, so believe you can bounce out of here now. I'm at Josh Evanoff on Twitter, at Ortega_01 for his Twitter, at Courtside Sound1 on Twitter if you guys want to stay tuned for all the content there. The YouTube channel's popping off. I believe we're about to hit 1,000 views.
Hey.
Most of which are coming from Alberto Del Rio versus Tito Ortiz. So yeah, if you want to laugh at that. But yeah, man, a lot of the YouTube stuff has been going really, really great. And they have some more clips up, hopefully that of this podcast. So yeah, man. Thank you guys for listening as always. If you guys know all the avenues to find us: Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff, and as well as YouTube. So if you guys wanna give us a listen, give us a shout, we always appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. So peace and butt grease. Mouse click.